What's going on, gamers? So this game has been out for a while now, but the meta is always changing a little bit, so I'm going to show you the most updated classes for competitive Call of Duty and Modern Warfare. So let's get started here. I'll just start off with the main SMGs. I'll show the MP5 first. This is what pretty much everybody uses, the MP5 or the M4. So we'll start with the MP5. I'll look at the attachments first. So we have compensator, the F-Tac collapsible, operator grip, 10mm, and rubberized grip. So this is the class that I use post-nerf. This gun got nerfed, I think, last month. Before the nerf, if you look at older videos, people won't use compensator, they'll use sleight of hand and stippled. This was the old meta setup before the gun got nerfed like crazy. They nerfed the 10mm and the collapsible stock to have a lot more recoil. So to deal with the recoil, I used rubberized and the compensator. But other than that, the class is pretty much the same. You could try different grips if you want. Ranger or operator. It's kind of preference, but that's pretty much the attachments. So for the rest of the class, what I want to mention is on SMGs, usually you run a knife. So you could pull out the knife for maximum movement speed. That's like, it's faster than any gun's movement speed, so you usually have that when you're running around, especially in search and destroy. Double time I usually run on my SMGs, and I usually keep all the perks the same, except for the AR. I flip double time and EOD, so EOD is the primary first perk and not the specialist perk. Second perk never really matters in primary. Let me just show you why. Because you could only use Ghost or Point Man, and there's no UAVs in professional COD, so you just use Point Man or Ghost, whatever you want. And then Battle Hardened is the third perk that I use to protect against stuns, flashes, stuff like that. And then the submachine guns also, they usually use Dead Silence. And the AR player, usually if there's one or two AR players, they'll use a trophy system, especially in hardpoint. If the AR player is in the hill, they'll throw down a trophy in the hill, and the SMG players will push out spawns and push the enemies back a little bit. So we'll talk about the M4 next. This is the other main gun everybody uses. It's usually only the MP5 and the M4. I'll go through the attachments first. This is pretty much the same as the old meta, except people used to use no stock a lot more. People still use it a lot, but the no stock got nerfed, so I changed to the close quarter stock. Other than that, it's compensator, M16, close quarter stock, stippled, and commando. The only other thing you might want to change is M16 for Corvus. I think Corvus gives you a little bit more movement speed over M16. But the M16 is better for like beaming people across the map, which is good for a map like a cave or something like that. For the perks, I use EOD and double time. I have them flipped, so EOD is the primary perk. I have an M19 as the secondary, because you don't really need to have a knife out to run around fast as an AR player. And then Semtex stun. So those are basically the main two classes. These are some alternate classes if you want. The Uzi and the AUG are pretty good, for especially for respawn game types. So let's look at the Uzi. I have the FSS Carbine Pro. I have a red dot, close quarter stock, stippled, and the AE mags. This mag conversion you definitely want to use on the Uzi. The only preference thing here is some people still use no stock, and some people switch out the red dot for sleight of hand, but I don't really like the iron sights on the Uzi, so I use a red dot instead of sleight of hand. And that's about it. The gun doesn't really have any recoil. It's kind of like a faster moving AR, and that's also why I have the long barrel on it, because you could shoot people from pretty long range with this. I have a knife. I have double time as the primary perk, Semtex stun. The third and final SMG I have the AUG. This was almost the meta for a little until like the pros got crazy and G8'd and stuff like that, but that's a long story. But you could still use it in CDL. So the 407 lightweight barrel, the close quarters comb stock, Ranger, stippled, and then sleight of hand. The only preference thing here is if you want to switch out the sleight of hand for a red dot if you're not used to like the iron sights or something, but most people could just be fine just with sleight of hand here. So this is kind of like the meta AUG class if you ever want to use the AUG. M19 because the AUG's not too fast, or at least it doesn't feel too fast anyways. And then for perks, I have double time in the primary slot here, Semtex Stun. Here's a final class if you want to snipe and search and destroy. You can't really snipe and respawn that good in this game. You can't like quickscope or anything, so there's no benefit to it. But in search and destroy, you can use it. So we'll look at the attachments. 32-inch factory barrel, variable zoom. I think it allows you to zoom in a lot more than the regular scope. Syngard Arms Assassin stock, that'll help you ADS a little quicker. Stippled, ADS a little quicker also. And then focus is the best perk to have. That's flinch resistance. So if you're getting shot, you're not flicking all over the map trying to shoot people. I have an M19. I have EOD in the primary slot. I also have amped here for throwing nades and swapping out to your pistol as fast as you can. And then Semtex Stun. The only other thing I want to mention is I only run Semtex and Stun. Some people run frags, especially in Search and Destroy, for like nade spots. And then usually, I think the pros have it so one person runs a smoke grenade. So somebody on your squad should be running a smoke, and the rest stuns are usually what people use, I think. And there you have it. You should be well on your way to becoming a pro sooner than you think. You just gotta practice, and these classes will be a good start. There's some preference stuff in there, but they're pretty solid to get started with. Alright, thank you. I'll see you in the next one.